The win was almost there, didn't quite come to fruition, but I liked what I heard out of Hunter.
Yeah, absolutely. He had a very clear vision of how things went today, was in position to battle for the win, right down to the final corners, knows what he can do better just 2 weeks from now when we come back and go racing again, and he's very much in the mix.
Yeah, absolutely. Taking a look now at that Specialized race recap. It's been sprinkling all day long, a whole shot. This was a tight one, but I believe it was Hunter Hart grabbing it. Grabbing the whole shot, at least from the angle I was in. That angle looked a little different. May have been wrong on that, but I know we've got the officials on it. And then out of that XC2 class, man.
Andrew
day.
Banowski, man, he's just been automatic on those starts. To steal a Mikey Wayne, automatic, is that what you used to say?
I think
when
so,
they
yeah.
get the whole shot? He's just been grabbing so many of those. But Hunter Hart out front early, Bryson Neal giving chase. Josh Merritt buried a little further back in the pack, and then he put in a charge, got up to these guys, and was able to carry it throughout the race. We saw so many option lines. They even talked about it in their post-race interviews, side by side multiple times out there. A lapped rider ultimately changing the landscape of the race on that final lap of racing for Bryson Neal.
Yeah, Bryson Neal, and here's a good shot of it. Those goggles just flapping in the wind. Johnny pointed out, man, it looks awful. It sounds awful. It's just very irritating. And you could just tell after this, though, Bryson Neal showed he did end up making a mistake, which made things interesting. This was the absolute freight train that we had in the XC1.
Yeah, there were 7-8 riders battling over those positions. Bryson Neal seemingly alone out front. And then we see this mistake from Hunter Hart that allows Josh Merritt to get right there. In our next camera shot, Merritt actually able to get around Hunter Hart. And then this is the moment where the race changed. Bryson Neal looking over his shoulder and seeing a very, very hard-charging Josh Merritt and Hunter Hart on the final lap of racing, giving up a 32-second lead and then ultimately giving up the lead. Josh Merritt able to make the move and get around with the help of a lapped rider. And then as it comes down to the final miles of racing, it was just a melee and wheel-to-wheel battle.
Yeah, this was an absolute barn burner. There is Neal out in front. We're going to see Merritt right here behind him. And it wasn't long after this as Merritt was able to wrestle that lead away from Bryson Neal. And this is where, that I thought was going to be the difference maker. Bryson Neal going a little wide right there, getting up into that berm, but no, did not give up. Hung right in there on that rear grab bar, and the last probably mile, half mile, we got this. Wheel-to-wheel action, the back and forth, and I am 100% positive Bryson Neal looking over saying, if you want it, come get it, but you're going to have to get it on the outside. Not going to work, and Bryson Neal hangs on for one heck of a win.
What an exciting finish. We haven't seen a GNCC finish like that. You can see those two absolute gladiators, hugging it out. Those are men doing men things, and they absolutely crushed it today. Put on a heck of a show for the fans, and they were just giving each other no quarter, but respect between the two of them when they crossed the finish line.
So we take a look at your top 10 results here. Of course, Neal, Merritt, and Hart rounding out the box. Wyatt Wilkin hanging on for a fourth. Brandon Owens, a career day, I think, as far as his XC1 career goes.
Yeah, I think he does already have a top 5, but sitting there in the number 5 spot after coming from way back in a Turn 2